You're listening to the Known Legacy Podcast, brought to you by Known Legacy Ministries. For more information, go to knownlegacy.org. Now here's your hosts, Bill and Travis.
Morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Morning, Kyle.
Good morning.
Producer in the corner.
Yeah,
He's
we
doing a great
even
job.
have a studio audience today.
We
Our
do.
friend John is here, who we didn't.
There's a lot of Johns clapping right now.
A lot of John's clapping. We didn't give him a mic, and that's on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We are so glad to have you on this morning. Thanks for joining us at the Known Legacy Podcast today. We have a special guest, and so we're super excited about that. But before we get into that,
Yeah, as
how are
always.
you doing, man?
You know what? It's good. I'm happy 2026 is here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year.
It is here.
It's going to be a good year. How about you, Bill? How are you doing? Tell us. Sure.
I am good, doing well. I don't know. I have Steve. We had a conversation off about Steve Winwood. So for anybody else, I got on my Spotify and realized that my age for Spotify was 65 because I've been listening to a lot of yacht rock and Steve Winwood. And so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm back in the high life again.
The fact you're willing to share that with the general population is pretty
Secure in
shocking,
my manhood.
actually. I was going to
secure.
say you should come to our men's retreat coming up in April, but no, I don't think so anymore. I think most guys would be like, no, don't need to go.
We would love that. Speaking of the men's retreat, we have that coming up April 10th through the 12th. We'd love to have you there. If you're hearing this, man, we also have a discount for you, but check out our website. We'd love you guys to connect with us April 10th to the 12th. It's going to be a great time to connect you to the Lord and what God has called you to become. So thank you guys for joining us today, and even there and here, to helping men wake up, gear up, and come alive to who God called them to be.
And just so you know, all worship music is going to be produced by Sandy Patty and Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith. We're going to pull out the banger.
Rocket Town, Rocket Town.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns. That's Rich Mullins, anyways.
He was good, too. Okay, I'm going to stop because I'm going to defend. We're going to go into Keith Green after this. It's all going to be over.
Keith was legit. He was OG.
He was.
He was legit. Anyway, so thank you guys for checking us. The question of the day.
Question of the day.
I should have waited till you drink. Question of the day.
Question of the day.
Okay, so I have to say it. It's like December 20-something or another.
Yeah,
close.
we're recording this, yeah.
And it's 65 degrees out. It's gorgeous. I love the state of Texas. I thought I would hate it when I moved here 20-plus years ago. I absolutely love the state of Texas. Yeah. But the question is this. If you had to move, if you had to leave, if you know, where would you want to go? What state in the Union would you be willing to move to if that meant that you were leaving Texas? Where would you want to go?
Kyle, why don't you take this first?
Good, because I'm going to say Florida before anybody else does.
We can move to the same spot.
I was gonna say, wait, this is not like it's off the board.
We
You
can't live in the
move
same
there.
place. You can't
Wait a minute. We only get one?
Oh, I should have gone first.
Second pick would be West Texas.
No, if it's off the board, I would do West Texas too. I would do East Texas.
I was like, West Texas.
East, and it is kind of a different world in East Texas than West Texas, even where we live. Anyways, so, okay, Florida's off the board. So now, Texas and Florida off the board. Bill, I'll let you go next. Where are you moving?
I would actually move to Tennessee.
Because
the rolling hills, it's beautiful, like the Spring Hill kind of area, Franklin, all that kind of stuff. Just really, really pretty area. So that's where I would probably move.
Excellent.
What about you?
Man, you know, I really don't know. I'm just gonna say Arkansas because I think there's pretty parts of Arkansas.
You can move to Texas or Florida. I mean, to Tennessee or Florida too.
Yeah, you can.
You can. You have permission.
I do Florida. And then here's the reason why. So when my wife and I started dating back a long time ago in the 90s, you may remember that decade. It's Bill's home decade, the 90s, right? And we started dating. It was like our second or third date, and she's like, just so you know, I'm never moving north of the Red River. Now, I grew up in Illinois, right? I didn't even know where the Red River was. I had no idea, but she was a pretty girl. She was in my car. I'm like, cool, I won't move north of the Red River.
Whatever.
For those of you who don't know, Red River is the border between Texas and Oklahoma. And so basically what she's saying is I'm never moving north of that river. And still to this day, she will declare that as like, that is the linchpin, the keystone of our marriage. And so I have to go south. Unfortunately, Tennessee is north of the Red River,
Of the
so
Red River.
Florida is kind of the only option.
The only option.
Yeah, I'm going Florida.
Sorry, my ADD kicked in, and I started thinking about Dirty Rotten Scoundrel, and he's like, oh, Oklahoma. Anyways, so that's me and my ADD. I so apologize. But yeah, I don't know. I like Tennessee. I think it'd be nice. Even though it's north of the Red River, but
Yeah.
Florida is a good option. I do like that as well.
I'm glad I have permission from Bill.
You
I will
can
let
move.
my wife know. Bill
Yes.
has given me permission to move in next to Kyle in Florida.
Absolutely.
Or with Kyle, based on financial situations. So, but man, we are so excited to have you here today. We're also excited to introduce our guest, Matt and Andrea Crum from Genuine Family Ministries. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you guys are doing well.
Thank you. We are. We're happy to be here.
Man, we are glad. And so I guess the question goes
Yeah.
to you guys. If you had to move away from Texas, where would you guys move to?
Politics aside, if the politics were out of it, I would probably move to Colorado just because of the mountains. But if politics were involved, then I was born in Texas, raised in Oklahoma. And so I would probably move to Oklahoma so I wasn't far from Texas. So I still have family there. So
Yeah, I'd say politics aside, I'd move to the Netherlands. And so
Yeah, and I would go to Oklahoma with them, so that would be good. We'd join
There
up
it
there
is.
together.
above the Red River. Take that,
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
Well, we're so glad to have you guys on. A couple weeks ago, I got to have breakfast with these two, and we're super blessed by their ministry and wanted to get them on to share their ministry with everyone else that we have as well in our group. And so, Matt, Andrea, please share a little bit about Genuine Family Ministries, your guys' heart and vision for that, all that kind of good stuff.
well, I thought she was going to take that question. Sorry.
Smart man, let the woman start. I get it.
Well, I can. So Genuine Family Ministries, we started it about 3 years ago. I had been in ministry for about 2 years before that, and God just was really laying families on our heart. He was laying parents and students and just really what's going on in culture, and really the idea that we needed to do something differently because if we want different results, we got to do things differently. And we're seeing a lot of stuff going on in culture, and we really wanted to teach both parents and students how to discern the biblical worldview versus this postmodern worldview that we're seeing out in culture today. You know, kids are inundated with all these ideas on social media, the news, their neighbors, their schools. And really, I think it can get confusing fast because everything gets presented as truth. And so we wanted to make sure that kids, particularly, could discern what is from God and what is not from God, and prayerfully make a decision to follow what God's good plans are.
So, first and foremost, as a dad with 4 kids, thank you. Because I think there is a crisis within our culture of family and understanding family. And I would love to know your perspective on the history. Like, what happened? What happened to the family that what was so fundamental biblically, scripturally, as a foundation of any culture and any society, this idea of the parental unit and then kids and learning about just all of grace, forgiveness, work, sharing, all of that stuff. When did it really start to shift in America, and why and how did that happen, and how do we end up here? I guess is a good question.
Yeah, I would say, the more I've studied, the more I would definitely consider the feminist movement one of the biggest starting points for all of this. I think a lot of people might look back at the first wave of feminism and think, okay, maybe there were some good things there. But that really did bring a firestorm, I think, to the family, to the culture. And then especially as you get into second wave feminism, 1950s, 60s, 70s, you've got no fault divorce. You've got abortion is legalized. You've got birth control is legalized. So all these things are happening in culture. You have women who decide they want to leave the home. And so I think there's all these different things happening all at the same time. And it just became this firestorm. And now we're the generation, at least me and Matt are the generation, depending on our ages, right, that are raising the kids who, we came out of that generation and all those ideas. And now we're raising this next generation. And hopefully, in some cases, hopefully a lot more parents are making different decisions and realizing that the family is important. We need to have someone home. We need to have, or at least better priorities. If 2 people need to work, we need to have better priorities where we're not so focused on sports and extracurriculars and whatever all the other things are, so that we can focus on the family and really make sure that we are discipling our kids, making sure they're in church, all those things.
Well said. And I think there is something that we need to pull on. There's a thread that I would like to pull on, because I'd wager to bet when you say, when did this whole thing go wrong, your reaction is feminism. I'm wagering to bet our culture doesn't necessarily appreciate that answer.
There's a lean against that thought being the core.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is it about, particularly second, third, and now we're in the fourth phase of feminism. What is it about that approach, that understanding, that kind of dogma that has allowed us to be where we're at? What is it about feminism that just is somewhat toxic, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, I will say, I feel like I was such a I came from that, the women empowerment. You can do it all. Women boss moms or boss ladies or whatever it is, that all those things. I really think if we get down to it, it comes from Genesis 3 and the curse, where it says that, Eve is going to want the position of Adam. And I think that that's a lot of what it really centers on. But the idea that we can be more than men or better than men, and that we have all of this stuff inside of us to make us so, I think it can be a very attractive thing to a woman who has talents and who has giftings and who wants to do things and has purpose. But God has given us purpose, and he has also given us a role, and he's given us spiritual gifts, as believers.
Yeah.
And so we are to use all those things. So I think those desires are good. They just need to be tempered with a biblical perspective and a biblical worldview so that we can use them in the right way.
I think that, like, with the feminism that we're talking about, the being in charge, they want that empowerment. I think that's seeped into the media and people who are in control of that, and so you see a degradation of family in those shows, or just in general, where you got the father being kind of the buffoon, the kids are running all over the place, and mom's taking care of everything. And so just even seeing that constantly, it seeps into the minds of not only our kids, but the parents themselves. And so that's the biggest thing Satan doesn't want, is the family to be successful, a Christian family to be successful, or a family to stay together. And so you see a degradation and a wanting to destroy the family makeup.
It makes me think, so that's the negative. Man, how are you guys in your ministry? What's your vision to change that? Help us out. Share a little bit about that, as you guys are on the front lines of this, because even after our conversation, wow, you guys are literally on the front lines as well. And it's great to find another ministry that's in the same vision of, we want to change this. What are some tangible steps you guys are taking to help fight against that?
Well, there's a lot of things that we do, and I think it kind of goes back to what Andrea was saying about, we want the parents to know biblical truth compared to the biblical worldview, compared to the modern world, postmodern worldview. And if we educate them, we do it through conferences, books, webinars, and other things. We have an online community also. And we want them to be equipped, and so they can take that and take it to their children and teach it to their children. And because believe it or not, a lot of the kids will listen to, even if you don't think that they are, their number one influence on their life and their religious beliefs and spiritual beliefs is going to be from the parents, believe it or not, but that is the truth. And so that is our mission, is, hey, we get these parents equipped, they can take what we give them and pass it along to their kids.
Yeah, and I would say, very tactically speaking, some of the things that we teach on are God's order and hierarchy, because God created hierarchy all throughout creation, whether it's God to God the Father to the Son, whether it's God to his creation in terms of us being humans, whether it's parents to children, whether it's husbands to wives. There's hierarchy all throughout creation. Order is good. It creates boundaries. It creates protection. There's good things. There's blessings in his boundaries. So we teach that, but we also teach about specifically, in Ephesians, where it talks about, how a man is to love his wife, how a wife is to submit to her husband, but really focused on the fact that all throughout Scripture, there is not a really much difference when God is talking about the blessings and how he created men and women. It's all very much the same until you see roles in the family and in the church. Other than that, God has given us all, the authority over creation, to bless, to procreate, like all these things, to build up culture. There's plenty of room, for both men and women to flourish. But it is within, his boundaries and his order, and really teaching that so that we can have a clearer vision of what God has designed.
Love it.
I love it. So this may be a little bit off topic, but I would love to know your thoughts and ideas on this. Where my daughter, who's 23, she's about to graduate from Texas Tech, Wreckham. That's out in West Texas, by the way, Kyle, out in your neck of the wood.
Where Kyle wants to be.
Where Kyle wants to be. There ain't nothing out there but wind and dust, anyways. And we were talking about our culture still, even though we still tend to focus and train guys how to treat young ladies, right? There's particularly in Texas or where we live, there's still a lot of chivalry that's going on. Gentlemen, yes ma'am, yes sir, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so we still, in spite of everything, have been able to impart into most young men, some young men, kind of how to treat and respect a woman. And I was asking my daughter, I said, have you ever been taught how to treat a man? Like, what are the needs that a man and the unique gifting that a woman has? And have you ever been coached on that? And to her surprise, she's like, I've never thought of it, first off. And second, I don't think I have. It's not modeled for us on how we're supposed to treat men. Yeah. And I would just love to know your thoughts on that. Is that, are you seeing that? And what would you say in that situation?
I think it's a really good question. And I think you're right, because we're raising two boys. And so we think about, how are we raising them? And it's wonderful to have Matt as an example, because, he
well
does
done, Matt. Well done.
He's how to treat me well. Yes. They're carrying in the groceries. They're, doing
opening the door. Yep.
Yes. All of those things. So, but that's a good question. How are young girls learning to treat men? And I think that, there is, and this is kind of a downward thing to talk about, but there is a lot of things out there that our teens and our kids are experiencing that we probably have no idea about. And there's things like porn and different things like that that are teaching our young men how to treat women that aren't good. So whereas, hopefully parents are really helping in that area, I think some girls are experiencing some things sometimes that aren't what we would hope they would experience. And so I do feel like there is this bitterness sometimes from our young girls towards men, maybe because of some of these things they've experienced. So I think there's some roots that we have to start kind of uprooting and really get to the bottom of, to see, because there is this growing disparity between men and women, and young men's values and young women's values, young men more conservative and Christian, more young women more progressive. Yep. Anti-biblical, and so it's like, what's going on? There's something there. But yeah, I think that's a really good question of, are we teaching? And I hope so. I hope the homes that have young girls are talking to them about, this is what it looks like to honor your husband.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I know I didn't see that. We both come from broken homes. So, we didn't see some of that. And I think that's a really valuable question, and something for us to think more on.
No, I love it. And I think, as I think about this, as parents who are watching this or listening, what are some resources that you guys have that would help them kind of, let's make 2026 a year of the family, and kind of strengthen that core foundation of a biblical family with a biblical worldview? What are some resources that you guys have that could help out these families?
I hate to propose. I don't hate to, but I will promote my wife.
No. Say it. That's why we asked it.
She has a book called Christ Over Culture, and I would highly recommend it, because it basically lays everything out with the worldviews and what kids are experiencing today, how to combat that with a Christian worldview, biblical worldview, I might add. And it's an easy read. And we also have a lot of webinars on our community. We have a community through a platform called Circle, which is not regulated by Facebook or anything like that. So All of our webinars are done through that. And the community interacts with each other, asking questions and stuff like that. And so I would highly recommend those two things, because there's such a vast information on our community with those webinars and stuff that are just give practical guides to parents on raising their kids to stand firm on the foundation of the Bible, to go against the things of this culture.
Yeah.
And then we also, this coming year, are going to have high school curriculum. So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, nice.
Because we'll really start having a resource for students so that they can start, we've had things that are available, but not necessarily directly speaking to them. So I think it's going to be really helpful.
What do you think? First and foremost, we will definitely include links to those things.
We'll have those
in the notes
included
and
in the
everything
links.
else. What are some of the big questions that you're seeing asked by parents to address and kind of help their kids navigate the unique culture that we're currently living in? What are some of those big questions that you're seeing parents wrestle with, and how would you answer some of those questions?
That's a good question.
I would say a lot of stuff, unfortunately, is with the LGBTQ area, and especially in the trans ideology. We get a lot of questions about that, and we actually have a parent group that we meet with once a month, with parents have kids that identify as trans, and we are there to come alongside them and share the biblical truth of what God says about our gender and who we are in Christ. And what's great about it is that these parents are in different stages of learning about this. So you have someone that's new to everything, they just found out, to someone who's been in it a couple of years, and they're able to talk to them, encourage them, saying, hey, this is what is going on. And with that, it's something that we are going to be developing for the new year, is kind of a playbook, in a sense, where when we lead these groups, there's things that we can help them with, identify, and each month is a chapter basically, but there's a lot entailed with it. I think the biggest thing with that ideology and is not to affirm their pronouns. I mean, the second you open that door, it's by affirming their pronouns, and it's pretty much a hard road to shut it. So, what else would you say?
Yeah, I would say that is one of the biggest. I mean, we now see that, of course, 1 in 3 of our youth is identifying as LGBTQ+. So that's hitting the church. I think that's maybe what some people aren't realizing, because most parents who it's experiencing it are not talking about it, because it's, they're full of shame or embarrassment, or they're afraid people are going to think, what did you do wrong? And, all these things. So I think that is definitely one of the big things. And then the other thing I think we get lots of questions on is technology. And people are really, wanting to know more about how to protect their kids with technology. And really the best thing we can say there is just don't give it to them. Wait as long as possible. It's whack-a-mole. I mean, there's really no way you can do a lot of things to try to monitor it and put systems in place. And but you have to be looking at it. You have to be monitoring it as a parent really regularly, because they're so sneaky. Not just our kids can be sneaky, obviously, but also predators are sneaky, and they can groom and all that. And so I just think, wait as long as possible, quit giving into, your kids' demands and culture's demands, other parents' demands, and recognize that we have to be really mindful about that, because honestly, that's where a lot of these ideas are even seeping in, LGBTQ, all this.
It's really interesting. I'm sorry.
I would say also, don't give it to them because you're lazy and you don't want to deal with it and find out. Yeah. Because that's very easy. It's like, okay, I've had a hard day. I don't need to be worrying about really much anything. Here, take the iPad and you spend some hours on it. Yes, I think allow them to have some, but restricted time, but don't do it just because you need your time. Because I admit I have fallen into that, and it's a hard thing to not do. So
I just read an article that Australia just banned social media for everybody under 16.
Yeah.
You cannot be on it. And I think so if an entire country that is not focused on the Lord is seeing it, I can't imagine what we do. So what would you say to the parent who's already handed their kid their phone? Like, what's some tools, or, I mean, what are just, because again, you can't just, and how do you rip it away from them? I mean, like, what is some support you could give the parents who are like, I've already given my kid this? What are some things, what are some practical tips that you might be able to tell them, hey, start here, and what does that look like, even from the high level, to help them kind of start to combat this?
Yeah, I would say definitely make sure that it's clear that you're the authority of the phone. I think if they bought it with their own money, or if a grandparent or somebody bought it for them, then they get this perspective that it's mine and my property. So I think there just has to be, even if you've already given it to them, just a come to the table moment and say, this is, we are the ones that are the final decision makers of what happens on this phone. So some of the things that we've practically done, our oldest got his phone when he was a freshman. He was like the last one. But he puts it in our room every night. There's timelines when he's able to look at it, and he's not allowed to have social media. One of the rules he hates is that we have put a limit on how many apps he can have. And that is because so many of these apps have sneaky chats and stuff like that, where kids are getting on. It might even look like a calculator app or whatever, but then it has a chat feature. Wow. So there's a lot of sneaky things that are happening. And so we just wanted to make sure that was something that we had a better visibility over and control. We have, of course, Bark, which is a online monitoring system. And then knowing your kid's password, I think, is also very important. Going in, and we can check at any time. Also know some of the things that kids can do. They can delete photos, and they can keep them deleted in a password protected area. So being able to know that kind of stuff that is important. And then also, don't let them have it in isolated places. Don't let them have any technology, whether it's a TV, an iPad, phone, in their bedroom, in the bathroom. Everything that our kids are on is always, in the middle of our living room or somewhere that's open. And I think all of that's for their protection,
Right.
and we know that there's a lot of good, especially with gaming. Both of our boys like to game, and it's a fun thing for them to do with their friends. It's time for them to be relational, and they learn. There's good things to it. We just want to keep them from the things that are harmful.
I first and foremost, I think protect the heart of your child, because it's the wellspring of life.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many evil things out in the world that are desperately trying to get into the heart of the kids. I want to shift just a little bit, because I feel like you guys, first and foremost, thank you so much, because you guys are stepping into a gap that should have never existed.
Yeah.
But because the church has been lazy, and I think has fallen in love with, I don't want to offend, so I don't want to take hard stands, and I don't want to have hard conversations. And so we're just going to assume that parents will take care of it because it's the parents' responsibility, but we're not going to train the parents, and we're not going to set expectations for the parents. What let's say pastors listen to this. What advice, or what challenges would you have for a pastor who is realizing, we need to start addressing this stuff within our congregation. We need to start addressing this with our people in a way that is fruitful and helpful, and not destroying parents and making them, but giving them hope. And what would you say to the church, and how would you encourage the church to rise up into this space? So it's not just you two doing great mission and ministry, but it's actually the church, which God has ordained as his bride, to do have these conversations and set these boundaries.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, but
you're welcome.
I think it starts with the pastor, and they need to recognize where, like you were saying, where they're at, where the world's at, where our kids at. And I think they're seeker friendly churches, and they are good. But I think we've gotten past that now, where we need to really kind of nail down, hey, because we are in the situation we are in the culture, that the seeker friendly surfacey level stuff needs to really kind of stop. In a sense, there is a place for that somewhat, but we need to take and refocus on getting down to biblical truth, how to apply it to our lives,
Yep.
and how to apply it to our kids. And that starts with the pastor, that starts with the youth pastor and the interns and everything, where they really need to nail it down what their goal is to take these kids, prepare them for the world out there when they leave high school, because they talk about the stats about when kids leave the church, and go off to college, there's a huge number that fall away from the faith. Well, they're not being prepared for that. So they're kind of just all the surfacey level stuff that's happening in church. Well, they can't go out there and defend the faith. They know that, hey, we know Jesus died on the cross for us, and he's there for us. But like, if someone actually challenges them and twists the truth to them, they fall instantly. And so we've got to prepare them for that. And I think that is basically just somewhat getting rid of most of the surfacey level stuff and diving deep. And that's the kind of what we talked about. Andrea and I've talked about this, is like, we grew up in a time where, we were trying, the churches were just, hey, come down and say a prayer and now you're a Christian. But there was nothing after that. There was no discipleship. Right. There's no anything after that. And I think basically that whole mindset still needs to be played today for those kids that know they're Christians, but there's no preparedness for them to go out in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love this. I feel like we could talk about this all day, and I feel like we need to have you guys back on.
Yes.
But I do feel like there's some great tools for parents to latch onto, and we will put that in all, in these notes. We'll put a link to your guys' ministry in there. But I think you're right. We need to really start to go more on the offense.
Yes.
Yes. And not worried about offending, but go on the offense and say, man, God, you
with
have
love and grace.
Yes, absolutely. But I think you're right. The passivity time is over, and we really need to be there. And so, parents, if you're listening, if you're standing in the gap, there's some great resources that these guys have, and we'd love you to be a part of what they're doing as well. So thank you guys so much for being on today. We want to have you guys on again. I know that we can talk all day. Sure. But we want to respect your guys' time and the listeners' time. But any final thoughts that you would want to just say about Genuine Family Ministries that you guys could commend to those who are listening?
So I would just say, the mission of taking on family discipleship and focusing on our family really takes time, and it takes commitment. And there's just so much out there that is biting for our time and trying to distract us. And I think that's the greatest work of the enemy in our culture. Sometimes it's not even what's going on the outside. It's what's happening in the home, all the extracurricular activities, the busyness, the exhaustion. And so I think really taking a look at our schedules and what we're committed to, and deciding what are we going to stop doing so that we can do this other work of really discipling. So that's what we're here for. We're here for that work of really and that commitment of saying, okay, I'm gonna make a priority to start discipling my family. And so we just love and are thankful to be able to provide resources to do that.
I love it. I love it. So if you want to make 2026 a year of change for your family,
yes,
connect with Genuine Family Ministries. We'd love you. Again, we'll have those links in there. We'd love to stay connected. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Yeah, and thank you for doing what you do and stepping in the gap and answering the call of God when so many people have not. Man, just bless you guys. Bless you in your mission and ministry.
We're grateful.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's so good. And as we finish up, we have a little segment called Fast Five. There it is. So question number 1 for you two, if you could tell people to go support a cause or a ministry, what would it be?
Oh, it would be anything related to discipleship, family, children. I'm reading a book called Raising Spiritual Giants or Spiritual Champions by George Barna. And he talks about in there. So he's a Barna research. He's been doing research for a long time. He's also a very faithful Christian. And he's been talking about, in this book, he's talking about how we have to reach kids by the time they're 13 because their worldview is formed by then, and it does not shift very much at all in their research after that. So although some people do come to Christ after that age, the majority are doing it younger. So I think anything we can do that, like you guys are doing with discipling men, I think anything we can do, fathers, anything that we can do for the family and children is really going to have just exponential growth and benefit and fruit for the church for generations to come.
I love it. And you guys are so selfless. You didn't even promote your own ministry. So
I was going to say, let's go.
I appreciate that, but no, that's great. If you could describe legacy in a word or a phrase, what would it be?
When I think of legacy, I think of inheritance, and that goes back to, the inheritance we have in Christ, and we are heirs to Him, and so that's really what I think. Every time I hear legacy, I think of inheritance and what we have in our salvation in Christ.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Hope that was fast enough.
No, it was great. That was really good.
It was great. Fantastic.
Was great. All right, number 3. I know that the holidays are over now after when this releases, but what's a family tradition you guys have during the holiday season?
Oh, so something that my family has done, my stepdad's family is from Peru. And so every Christmas Eve, we do tamale dinner. And so that's a very fun tradition. It's a little different, but we've been doing it for over 20 years. And we do the gift exchange and, Secret Santa stuff. And it's just fun. Just a really
That's awesome.
Fun.
Do you make the tamales or do you buy them?
No, we don't make them. Actually, we just go to the event.
Hallelujah.
I don't make a lot of things. I buy most everything. So,
that's okay.
Tommy tamales, man. They're the fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. Tamales are great. So, all right, if you had a go-to fruit, what would you pick?
Oh, man, our families, we are a banana family. We go through bananas like it's going out of style. I mean, we buy 2 or 3 bunches at a time, and within 4 days they're gone. So
they're all gone.
That's good.
We also have 2 teenage boys. So
that answers the question there. So yeah. It could be anything. It could be frozen mac and cheese. It's like it's gone in 4 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man, that's awesome. So what do you want to be remembered for by those closest to you?
Yeah, good one.
Man, faithful. Whether that's, I want to be remembered as faithful to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ through thick and thin, but alongside that, faithful to my family and how I lead them spiritually, and but also as the provider and leader of the home.
Praise the Lord. I love it. I love it. Well, man, Matt and Andrea. I said Andrea. It's Andrea. I noticed he said that in there. So we are so grateful to have you on, guys. Check out Genuine Family Ministries. We'll put the links again in all of our information in the descriptions. Thank you guys for your faithfulness and what you did to be the first, I guess, in the first line of defense of creating healthy, Christ-centered families. So we're so grateful to partner with you here and look forward to more in the future. So thank you guys for being on today.
All right, thank you.
Guys, thank you guys for watching today. Travis, any final thoughts?
Man, God bless you guys. Have a great week.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for listening to the Known Legacy Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so email us your questions or comments to info@knownlegacy.org.